In this mission, you will learn the powerful yet simple 4 conversation steps of the Grow Coaching Conversation Model, first developed by Sir John Whitmore, the father of business performance coaching. Grow begins by asking questions to clarify the goal and then moves on to explore current reality and options for finding the best way forward. Remember the 4 phases of energy and insight? The Grow coaching steps are specifically designed to create this shift in thinking and motivation. Your Grow coaching questions help your coachee expand their thinking to find solutions to their own problems. This is highly motivating and engaging, and typically leads to better outcomes and better execution. As you become adept at identifying the facial and body language of motivation, you'll be better able to help your coachee capture their thinking momentum. Your coachee will feel energy building as they begin to see a path forward. Your goal and reality questions will move them from being stuck in their dilemma to a focus on a positive solution. Your reality and options questions will get them to reflect more deeply, opening up their thinking until they experience that moment of illumination, the aha moment we feel when we finally see a way to solve our problems. Finally, your way forward questions will help them turn their insights into a plan of action with specific steps for putting their solution in place. If you pay attention, you'll notice the facial, voice, and body language clues that someone is shifting from being lost in the problem to reflecting. They have a calmer voice. Their eyes look up. They tilt their head. You can also notice the facial, voice, and body language clues that someone is shifting from reflecting to realization. Their voice becomes excited. Their eyes light up. Their body tilts forward. They may say, aha, I never thought of it that way before. The Grow coaching questioning structure is designed to produce this rather dramatic shift in motivation. So let's break down the process and look at the questions appropriate to each stage. In previous missions, we discussed how and why to ask readiness permission questions as well as clarification questions. This is a reminder to always begin with a readiness question and to ask clarification questions as often as you feel they're needed. These types of questions provide solid support and context for the 4 steps of the Grow questioning model. The coaching conversation steps are as simple as a 4-step dance. Anyone can learn to use this 4-step questioning process pretty easily. Becoming masterful at it is something that you can practice for the rest of your life. The dance analogy is a good one. The more you practice, the easier and more fun it becomes. Keeping up your practice, and soon coaching becomes a second nature for you. At the heart of this process are the Grow coaching steps first outlined by Sir John Whitmore. The coaching structure is fairly linear, moving from goal to current reality to options and finally to way forward. But we should always follow our natural curiosity and be willing to ask clarifying questions at any time. This demonstrates your deeper listening and helps you identify potential for development in your coachee. It's also perfectly natural to occasionally backtrack, clarifying a bigger vision of what success looks like as your coachee's thinking and options expand. So let's look at each type of question, beginning with the goal question. Remember, we ask goal questions to identify the issue or opportunity and to achieve understanding on the desired outcomes of the coachee. It's important to note that you should never skip over this step. Too often, we assume we are on the same page regarding what success looks like. This can result in missed expectations and rework, in pursuing less effective strategies, in solving symptoms rather than real issues, in wasted time and disappointment. Do not skip the goal question step. In fact, you will want to ask several of the questions that are on this slide. Goal questions raise energy and get people thinking about a better future, instead of dwelling on the past. Identifying what we want to achieve puts us on the path to achieving it and focuses us on the solution rather than on the problem. The goal stage of GROW is explored at the beginning of each conversation and referred to again from time to time to keep the focus moving forward, especially if the coachee becomes stuck. You may also want to probe to discover performance goals as well as end goals. End goals are things like getting the next promotion, moving a project forward, or landing a new key client. Performance goals are the behavior and skill development activities that are likely to help your coachee achieve those end goals. End goals are the motivation. Performance goals are the specific actions under the control of the coachee that specify how they plan to get to their end goals. This goal stage is critical to help people think through their dilemma by focusing on facts without the emotion of judgment. Goal questions start with stepping back from the dilemma itself and helping the person focus on exactly what it is they want to accomplish. This step often requires several questions to get the employee focused on the positive vision of their future. Goal questions can be as creative as you would like them to be. You can ask what success looks like, what it feels like, how it will look to other people, what your coachee or other people will be saying. The key is to get your coachee to focus on what they would like to have happen. You may even ask what elements they would like to see in place within a specific time frame. As part of this mission, we will ask you to take the suggested goal questions like the ones on this slide and create your own list of cheat sheet questions, which you can keep handy to use when you find yourself in situations that call for you to coach. In the meantime, notice that these questions look at success from different angles: how the coachee will feel, what other stakeholders may feel, think, or say, how important this is for the coachee or for others, how will they know they've succeeded. You will want to come at success from many angles for a couple of reasons. It helps open up the thinking of the coachee, and it begins to create a vivid picture of what success looks like. This goal stage is critical to help people get through their dilemmas. As part of this mission, we really want you to pick out the goal questions that you are going to find helpful so that you can help create that vivid picture of success, creating both the clarity and the motivation for the coachee to create the desired outcome. All right, now it's time to move on to the second stage of the GROW coaching conversation model, current reality questions. The reality stage of the performance coaching model is about understanding how the coachee views the current reality that's going on, including obstacles encountered and what he or she has already done to try and solve the problem. This is an exploration of where the coachee's thinking is right now. It is essential to spend some time in this stage so that the coachee can figure out what needs to be brought out and looked at. Once the coachee has everything in view, he or she will have greater clarity and new perspectives, so that ideas will occur naturally on how to move forward. This stage is where your deep listening is really going to pay off. You will need to be alert to your own prejudgments about the coachee and the situation. You will also want to help the coachee uncover the assumptions and limited thinking that's been holding them back from their solution. During this step, you are listening both to what is said and what is not being said to uncover the limiting beliefs and assumptions of your coachee. In other words, you're listening like a coach. As many as 5 questions or more are often required for encouraging insights to fully develop during this reality step of the process. Too often, people new to coaching try to solve a problem without fully considering their starting point. And often they are missing some of the key information or context they need to solve the problem effectively. So look over this list of example reality questions. By asking a number of them, you are inviting your coachee to look at their current situations from new and different angles and perspectives. This shift will help bring them new insight and awareness, which will then deliver clarity on their options for the best way forward. Thoroughly exploring the coachee's reality is one of the keys to good performance coaching, and it is a part that is often missing from our everyday business conversations. We tend to start by describing what's been happening in the past and go straight from there to what we plan to do. Note that discussion of the past is not central to the GROW model. Your job as a coach is to help get your coachee focused on the future. Asking reality questions enables people to step back from their emotions, their desires and assumptions, and see the situation clearly, and decide how best to move forward from a new place of clarity instead. Beware that you may experience what we call the coaching discomfort hurdle at this stage. It can feel really awkward at first to explore the goal and reality stages so thoroughly when you first try coaching. New coaches tend to make a couple of rookie errors as they try out this new approach, falling back on questions about the past, asking about options prematurely, or unfortunately, offering solutions instead of asking questions. Until asking several goal and reality questions becomes second nature, it pays to keep a list close to you while you're coaching to ensure that you have asked enough questions before moving on to options. You might want to pause the video right now to write down your own favorite lists of at least a few reality questions that you want to try out in your next coaching situation. Later, you're going to be asked to put some of these into your own personalized cheat sheets of coaching questions. Remember, it can be useful to reflect on the dilemmas and problems your reports usually bring to you. Do you have any favorite questions that help people see what has them stuck? Perhaps they tend to overlook stakeholders, or they often have a need for more information, or perhaps broader context. Perhaps reflecting on what has worked in the past or on the level of priority this challenges for them would be helpful. Good reality questions help people dig deeper into their own awareness and uncover perspectives that their assumptions had kept them from previously seeing. Soon they will show signs of new energy and hope for solving their dilemma. Then is the time to ask them about options. When we explore options, we help our coachees stretch. They move beyond the obvious and easy possibilities as they gain deeper insights. You move into this step when you can see that the person has had an insight about the current reality and is beginning to become energized about moving forward. You'll see this on their faces or hear it in the tone of their voice. While exploring options, try to stay open and unattached to any particular ideas your coachees express. Your task is to help your coachee generate as many good options as possible. It's okay in this phase to make suggestions to help people think in different ways. Just make sure you aren't trying to direct them to a specific solution, or that you get too attached to any suggestion as being the best one. The best option, that's the one they get excited about, and that inspires them into action. Notice that these questions are almost all open-ended. Keep asking open-ended questions until the coachee runs out of options. Once it seems that the list is complete, ask this final closed-end question. Is there anything else? That's a great way to complete the options process. Asking, is there anything else, can often pull out one more truly creative solution. If the coachee gets stuck, you're okay to go back to reality or goal questions. Repeating back to the coachee the key words which they came up with during the reality and goal questions phase almost always opens up some new clarity, which will allow some new options to surface. It can also help to keep pulling the coachee's focus forward by referring to the goal statements they have previously made. One important warning about options: don't rush to get to this stage. Asking options questions when the coachee is still stuck is just about the least helpful thing you can do. This is another good time to pause and write down the options questions you plan to employ in your next coaching opportunity. Later, you can add these to your personalized cheat sheets. The option step in the coaching dance is designed to solidify an aha moment that inspires the coachee. Remember, this is about the coachee owning their own solution. You need to resist handing them an answer. Sure, you can share some of your thinking, but make sure they're the ones who decide the best path forward. That is the path that they are most committed to, and therefore the path most likely to lead to success. That is their optimal path of learning and development. When they have clarity about potential next steps, then it's time to help them commit to their way forward. The way forward is about committing to take action. Just make sure your coachee is agreeing to the action for them, not for you. Reflect on this for a moment. How often have you had a great idea and never acted on it? Inspiration can quickly fade. So once you sense that your coachee is inspired to move into action, you'll want to get specific while their energy is still glowing by asking way forward questions. This phase usually has a life of its own, as the coachee is motivated to take action on their ideas for achieving their vision. A tip from the neuroscience perspective is to have them write down their actions and/or to say them out loud. This builds a deeper connection to the original insight through using all areas of the brain, increasing the likelihood of driving true change. In short, by harnessing their energy in this way, you help them succeed by putting their insights into action. Again, you can consider pausing the video here to take some notes and write down way forward questions you want to try out. Before moving on, let's consider building in follow-up. How do you determine if you want your coachee to follow up with you? Most leaders say, well, it depends. They might leave it to the coachee's discretion, or on the other extreme, they may always ask for a follow-up report back if the coaching was about a performance problem or an important client issue. Please consider building in follow-up at every opportunity for the next few weeks. We think you will find it pays many dividends. Foremost, asking your coachee to let you know how their plan unfolded shows concerns for their success and their development. It builds trust. It builds accountability. It also gives you a chance to help them build a positive habit when you have that follow-up conversation. Lastly, building in follow-up is simply a great time saver. By making clear the expectation that the coachee will get back to you, make sure that you close the loop and get maximum development and results from every coaching opportunity. By having your coachee commit to the follow-up, you make them responsible and can virtually eliminate your need to chase down after problems. The first three sections of GROW create expanded awareness. This final stage is designed to help coachees take responsibility for solving their own dilemma. By examining current reality and exploring options, your coachee will now have a good idea of how he or she can achieve their goal. That's great, but in itself, this may not be enough. So your final step as a coach is to get your coachee to commit to specific actions. In doing so, you'll help the coachee establish his or her way forward. In your coaching over the coming weeks, you'll be putting these steps all together for a complete coaching conversation around actual dilemmas. Don't be afraid to use the cheat sheet lists of questions you create to help you. And don't forget to mix in readiness and clarifying questions. They're also important elements in a naturally flowing coaching conversation. Now let's step back a bit and take a look at how all of this will come together. Here is a review of the key components of a meaningful coaching conversation. You begin by setting the right tone with a readiness question. Then you ask several questions that are appropriate to each step: goal, reality, options, and finally, way forward. Remember to take your time and really explore their thinking and assumptions about the goal and the current reality. Watch for the 4 phases of faces as clues that your coaching is working. Trust your instincts and curiosity and have some fun. Most leaders report that performance coaching is a fun and easy process once they have mastered the basic 4 steps. Research actually shows that leading people through performance coaching is highly rewarding, as you see the illumination of insight on your coachees' faces that comes from helping them find their own best solutions. Use the coming weeks to take every opportunity to practice coaching, both on the job and with your coaching buddies. Trust the process and trust your gut. You can always switch over to another approach if your first few coaching attempts fall flat. Just keep practicing and it will soon start to become second nature. Before closing, we want you to know that coaching even has health benefits for you as the leader. That's right. Dr. Richard Boyatzis of Case Western Reserve University has written about this interesting phenomenon in a paper published in April 2006 in the Academy of Management Journal on Learning and Education, called Building Sustainable Leaders Through Coaching Skills. In this paper, Dr. Boyatzis showed how getting leaders to spend time coaching others was reversing the debilitating physical effects of power stress that executives experience. It's long been known that stress can reduce cognitive capacities and decision-making. The stress that leaders experience reduces their effectiveness and their ability to think clearly. As Dr. Boyatzis said, we propose that leaders may better sustain themselves by balancing the potentially stressful effects of exercising leadership with the ameliorative effects of coaching and the development of others. The fact that coaching is healthy for you is one more reason to get over that coaching discomfort hurdle. Before ending this video, let's take a look at what some other senior leader graduates of this coaching program had to say about learning the coach approach. This slide speaks to what leaders just like you have to say about learning the GROW coaching approach. The quote from William Arthur Ward captures the transformation that can happen when you use performance coaching. Nothing limits achievement like small thinking. Nothing expands possibilities like unleashed thinking. You know, that's the essence of what we've been talking about. Performance coaching helps your coachees expand their ability to see possibilities and unleashes their own creativity to solve the problems they are facing. Yes, coaching may feel odd at first, but trust the process and good things will happen. If you get stuck, remember to focus on the person and not on the problem. Follow your curiosity and your instincts. If you feel a bit lost, consider regrouping by taking a step back so that you can move forward. The end result is the payoff. The employee comes up with the best solution, the one that really works for them and the organization. The most common advice of successful performance coaches is to trust the process. I'd like to share a bit of advice from another senior executive who took performance coaching to the heart of his leadership approach. He said, initially, when you start getting into coaching, if the coachee is not used to it, it'll feel a little alien to the coachee and may even feel like it's counterproductive and not going anywhere. So you may have to jump in and out of mentoring a bit without leading towards any preconceived solution. But exploring different angles to oil the thinking of the coachee by subtly pointing to the different perspectives and angles you may have encountered, always with the caveat that this is based on your experience, but not necessarily an exhaustive list, and is something that may or may not work for others. Everyone needs a little bit of encouragement at the beginning to get ready to be coach. I also find that asking people up front on what they expect out of that discussion or that relationship really helps. In most cases, they'll tell you they're looking for guidance, tips, directions, etc. In other words, they're looking for answers. And then you can use that opportunity to ask for permission to coach and set the expectation of using coaching, explaining a bit about what it means. My role in this is to assist you in getting to your answer. Can I be your thinking partner in this? To summarize, coaching works. Coaching is more fun. Coaching is the healthy way to solve problems. Trust the process and you will reap the benefits. Now, let's commit to practice bringing more coaching into our conversations. Now's the time to begin taking every opportunity to coach people through the entire grow process. Prepare by using your customized cheat sheets. Practice by coaching yourself through at least one dilemma or problem that has you troubled using the GROW model. A great way to practice using the model is to address your own challenges and issues. When you are stuck with something, you can use the technique and the questions to coach yourself. By practicing on your own challenges and issues, you learn how to ask the most helpful questions. Then you can write down the questions that work well to free up your own thinking as prompts for future coaching sessions with others. The next two missions were designed to help you make progress through frequent practice. So have fun putting your new skills to the test. Oh, and one more thing. There are lots of great resources on the internet if you simply type in GROW Performance Coaching. These are a few of our favorites. We have also placed these links in the resource library and in the attachments for your convenience. So enjoy practicing your coaching. Good luck and good coaching.